Welcome to another episode of Curtis Answers a Question. Curtis Answers a Question. Bippity boop. Hi everyone, I'm history major and supposed comedian Curtis E, here to answer whatever questions you may have. Today's question comes to us from @Dornaruda2907 on YouTube. And they ask, why is the place Hooters called Hooters when the people in the place don't hoot and the store doesn't hoot either? Man, the amount of times I've been asked this one. So Hooters, if you're unfamiliar, is a feminist restaurant chain best known for its supporting role in Hodgson versus Minnesota. But as the Honorable Dornaruda pointed out, nobody in the restaurant hoots, and the restaurant itself does not hoot either, making the origins of the name quite mysterious. And contrary to unpopular belief, Hooters is not called that because they make their food from owls. For this answer, we need to travel all the way back to the state of Oregon in 1892. A man named Patrick Ridgeface stumbled upon a large, wide tree in a forest that looked incredibly different from all the trees around it. He decided to do what most people back in the 1800s would do when faced with uniqueness and chop it down. Upon the first strike of the axe against the mighty bark, the tree began to shake and glow, and out of the ends of the branches came an overwhelming army of owls. They formed a feathery flapping ball around the man and lifted him into the air. The velocity of the flapping ball intensified until Patrick Ridgeface combusted, as reported by a nearby witness, Fackle Springbok. After Mr. Ridgeface was gone, a giant owl-like creature emerged from a door that appeared in the trunk. As it turns out, this axe chop had awoken an ancient organic god named Darius, who was the god of plants. Fun fact, Darius Rucker was named after this god, and that's where the Hootie of Hootie and the Blowfish came from. Fackle Springbok ran into the nearby town and told everybody what he had just witnessed. And one old woman in the town, whose name has been lost to history, was the only one who believed him. She told him and the town that hundreds of years ago, Darius had been using the plants to eat humans against the wishes of the other organic gods. However, the organic gods had made an unbreakable vow with each other at their conception to never hurt one another, so there was nothing they could do about it. Knowing this, the gods left a note on the doorstep of a woman instructing her on how to bind Darius to a plant. The old woman in town was the last remaining descendant of that woman. Fearing the destruction that Darius could inflict upon Oregon, she knew she had to try to bind Darius to a tree once more. She rounded up a group of women and headed out into the forest, ready to perform the same ritual that her foremother had used to save Oregon hundreds of years prior. After surviving a perilous journey that involved fighting off owls and owl warriors, they found the giant owl god and formed a circle around him. Before the god could go for any of them, they all began an ancient organic chant that involved a lot of hooting and revealed their breasts to the god, distracting it. It kind of sounded like hoot, 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 hoot. As they chanted, the god became magically trapped in the circle of women, becoming the first known case of a booby trap. Soon, a giant tree like the one from before began to rise out of the ground and engulf the owl god until all that was standing was the tree. However, it wasn't completely bound, for there was one more part of the ritual. These women would have to give their lives to keep this god bound, and every brave woman went into this mission knowing it. They all gathered around the tree and pressed their breasts into it, activating the magic within them. And in a glowing burst, all these courageous warriors became one with the tree, effectively binding Darius to it. This group of heroic women became organic legends, and they were given the name the Hooters. One of their daughters, Eliza Bornthery, decided to honor the memory of her mother and the other warriors by opening a restaurant. She decreed that the restaurant would serve poultry to symbolize the defeat of Darius, and they would employ women to honor the warriors who defeated him. And the restaurant would bear the name of these women warriors, Hooters. The restaurant opened in 1894, making it America's oldest chain restaurant. Over time, gender roles and the patriarchal nature of America began to distort this origin to the point where barely anybody even remembers this origin. But the true history will always persist so long as there remains, as the phrase goes, the daughters of the Hooters Darius couldn't consume. So that is why it's called Hooters, to pay homage to the women who saved ancient Oregon. Got a question? I got an answer. Give them to me.